What if one day you found a photo of yourself, standing somewhere you've never been, next to someone who doesn't exist? This is the story of Ethan, a man whose reality didn't just bend. It completely broke. It was the summer of 2012 in a small town outside of Flagstaff, Arizona, the kind of quiet place where nothing ever seems to happen. 32-year-old Ethan Miles, a freelance photographer, lived alone in a small cabin near the edge of the Kaibab forest. He'd moved there to get away from city noise and focus on his nature photography. For months, his life was simple: wake up early, hike, shoot, edit, repeat. But one late evening in July, everything about Ethan's quiet life changed. He was driving back from a day of shooting sunsets near the canyon rim. It was almost 9:30 p.m., the last traces of orange fading from the sky. The road was empty, just trees, shadows, and the hum of his old Chevy truck. As he turned onto the final stretch toward his cabin, his headlights caught something strange on the road. At first, it looked like a man standing perfectly still, right in the middle of the lane. Ethan slammed the brakes, the truck skidding slightly on the gravel. The figure didn't move. When the truck stopped, Ethan reached for his flashlight, opened the door, and stepped out. "Hey, you okay?" he called out. No answer. The man was maybe 20 feet ahead, tall, wearing a gray hoodie, jeans. Nothing unusual except one thing. His face was completely blank. Not injured, not bloodied, just blank, like smooth, featureless skin. Ethan froze. His flashlight trembled. For a second he thought maybe it was a mask, or maybe he was just seeing things wrong in the dark. He blinked hard, and when he opened his eyes, the man was gone. No footsteps, no sound, just the empty road. Ethan's pulse hammered in his chest. He swept the flashlight in every direction, nothing but trees. He got back in the truck and drove the rest of the way home, checking the rearview mirror every few seconds. When he reached his cabin, he locked every door and tried to laugh it off. Maybe it was exhaustion, maybe a trick of light. But when he transferred his camera's SD card to the laptop that night, he stopped breathing. In the final photo from that evening, the one he'd taken just before getting into his truck, the reflection in the canyon glass showed a figure standing behind him. Tall, gray hoodie, face blurred like the camera couldn't focus on it. The next morning, Ethan decided to tell someone. He drove into town and showed the picture to a local park ranger, an older man named Jim Collier. Jim squinted at the laptop. "Could be lens flare," he said. "Or maybe someone wandered into your shot." "But his face," Ethan muttered. Jim chuckled. "You've been out here too long, son." Ethan left embarrassed. Maybe he was overreacting. But that night, around 11 o'clock, something knocked on his cabin door. Not once, 3 times, slow, heavy. He froze in bed. The forest outside was silent. He reached for his phone, dialed 911, but before he hit call, the knocking stopped. He gathered courage, went to the window, pulled the curtain back just an inch, and saw nothing. No movement. No lights. Then from behind him, a whisper, "Ethan." He spun around. Empty room. The next morning, he packed his bags. He was done. He'd call it a vacation gone wrong and leave. But when he opened the front door, his jaw dropped. Outside his cabin, stretching across the dirt road, were hundreds of footprints, barefoot, leading straight into the woods, and they weren't human-sized. They were long, uneven, like something dragging itself. Ethan snapped a few photos, out of instinct, not courage, and jumped into his truck. But as soon as he turned the ignition, his radio came alive with static. Then a voice, whispering, repeating his name again and again. Distorted, childlike. He yanked the key out and stumbled out of the truck, terrified. That night, he drove to a motel in Flagstaff. The clerk remembered him checking in, shaking, pale, saying something about someone following him. But in the security footage from that night, there's something strange. Ethan walks into the lobby alone, but in the reflection of the glass door, there's a second figure walking beside him. For the next 2 days, Ethan stayed off the grid. No calls, no social media, nothing. Then, on July 23rd, his sister Lily got a voicemail from him. His voice was trembling. "Lily, something's wrong with time. I don't know how to explain this. I keep seeing myself like me walking in the woods. I filmed it. I'll send you the file." He never did. The next morning, his truck was found on a dirt path 5 miles from his cabin. Door open, he's still inside. Camera missing. A search team found the camera 3 days later in a dry creek bed. It was damaged, but the SD card survived. The final video lasted exactly 1 minute 47 seconds. It starts with Ethan walking through the trees, whispering, "I think it's me. I think I'm following myself." Then the camera shakes, turns, and for 1 second, there's another Ethan, standing about 30 feet away, looking directly into the lens. The second Ethan smiles backwards, like the motion was reversed. Then the footage cuts out. Police called it stress-induced paranoia, maybe an accident. But Lily couldn't believe that. 3 weeks later, she went to collect his belongings from the cabin. She found his journal under the bed. The final page read, "There's something wrong with the world. I've seen the edges. I've seen the repeats. If you're reading this, don't look at your reflection at night. It's not always you." 3 years later, 2015, a hiker named Jordan Clark was exploring the same area. He was a YouTuber who made wilderness videos. He came across an abandoned cabin and decided to film a short vlog inside. In the footage he uploaded, there's a moment around 4:21 where viewers noticed something odd. As Jordan pans the camera across the dusty living room, the mirror above the fireplace shows a man standing behind him, even though the camera angle proves nobody's there. That video has since been taken down. A local journalist named Kara Hill later investigated both Ethan's disappearance and the viral video. She went to the cabin herself in 2016, doing a short documentary piece for an online channel. Her crew reported weird malfunctions, batteries dying, GPS freezing, mics recording static. During one interview, Kara said something that still circulates online. "Standing there, I felt like I was being observed, but not from behind. From inside." The documentary was never completed. In 2018, a hiker found a memory card buried near the same creek bed. Authorities traced it back to Ethan's old model camera. Inside were 3 new photos, all time-stamped August 2nd, 2012, 10 days after Ethan disappeared. Each photo showed the same scene from slightly different angles. The cabin door wide open, and a shadow in the doorway shaped exactly like Ethan. Only one detail didn't make sense, according to the metadata. Each photo had been taken from inside the cabin, facing outward. Today, locals say the cabin still stands, boarded up, covered in moss. Rangers say it's dangerous territory, unstable terrain. But hikers who've camped nearby report the same strange story. They wake in the middle of the night, step outside their tents, and find their own footprints already in the dirt, leading into the trees. Some say they hear a camera shutter clicking in the dark. Others claim they see a man standing on the trail, gray hoodie, blurred face, just long enough to vanish when they blink. Ethan Miles was never found. His sister Lily still keeps his last photo framed in her living room. In it, the canyon light glows beautifully, and the reflection of the glass, if you zoom in far enough, shows 2 Ethans, one holding the camera and one staring back. The photo has been analyzed by experts, and nobody can explain the distortion. But the file name of that image, automatically generated by his camera, was this: IMG_0001_RESDR. Maybe that's exactly what happened. If this story made you question what's real, hit subscribe, turn on the bell, and join us because every week, we dive into another mystery that blurs the line between fact and impossible.